Well, best morning, friends and folks. This one is called One Too Many Voices, as we dive right into Boat Man's lesson for the day. We'll start with a quote from Joseph Joubert. Common sense suits itself to the ways of the world. Wisdom tries to conform to the ways of heaven. Yeah, and if you blend the two together, you're going to have excellent judgment. And, oh yes, Proverbs 9:4. Let all who are simple come in here, she says to those who lack judgment. Let all who are simple come in here. The Bible's a really simple thing to understand, and really it's a simple life to live, but the common senses of the flesh come against it, and there's warfare between the spirit and the flesh. But it is a simple path to take. Inward. Wisdom and folly both take on a human voice in Proverbs. They are principles personified. Repeatedly throughout the book, wisdom calls, so does folly. Wisdom promises everlasting blessing. Folly promises a moment of pleasure. Their voices are incessant. So, which one is quoted in the verses above? Both. Wisdom is verse 4, folly is verse 16. They say exactly the same thing. They speak to those who are simple and lacking in judgment. The only difference between the two sayings is in the response of the hearer. Perhaps we are unaware of the constant call. Perhaps we do not realize that every choice is a response to a voice. The voice of wisdom or the voice of folly. When you are tempted, both are speaking. When you are in search of security, both call out. When you are making your plans, both compete for your attention. When you are spending your money and your time, they beckon. Have you not heard them? They always say the same thing. Come in here. Wisdom is like a spouse, a permanent partner who is always there supporting you for your own good. Folly is like a prostitute. The promise is enticing, but the result is brief and disappointing. When Proverbs speaks of wives and prostitutes, faithfulness and adultery, it speaks in literal terms, but it also speaks figuratively. We make choices daily. We are faced with a repeated choice between wisdom and folly, and their voices can sound so much alike. Indeed, the conclusion. Whose voice do you hear? Wisdom isn't flashy, rarely impressive, and never demands. Folly is brash, showy, and frequently pushy. She says, you were put here to have a blast. Wisdom disagrees. You were put here to have and to be a blessing. Can you tell the difference? When they both call, to which voice are your ears attuned? Train them well. The lot is riding on your ability to hear. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. He who has eyes to see, let him see. Folly is short-lived. It's very true. Wisdom is having the fruits of the Spirit. One of the fruits of the Spirit is patience. One that I've been thinking of a lot that I need to work on. And patience comes in very handy in this warfare against the flesh. The flesh wants to satisfy, wants to do what it wants to do. It wants to crave what it sees, and it wants you to go after and have evil feet rushing after evil things that have nothing to do with the Lord, that have the reverse to do with the Lord, and so forth and so on. There's so many examples. But for me, I'd rather just stay straight, stay planted. But when I do commit these sins, I ask the Lord to forgive me and to not commit them again to the best of my ability. It's just a simple one for me is drugs and alcohol, but there's so many other things that come against me that I need to add to that drug and alcohol list. No matter how hard times have come, and then with Andy being gone, I'll never go back to drinking. I'll never go back to drugs, and I'll say that because of his name higher than my name. That's easy. Drugs and alcohol and cigarettes, not a problem. But when I'm mad cussing, Jackie, you cuss? You're a minister. I gotta be real mad, but yeah, man, I cuss. Nah, I need to see. that's what I'm talking about. Things like that. But that's where wisdom comes in and triumphs over common sense. So here it is, man. Let the Spirit overcome your flesh today by His way, higher than all ways of holiness. Be blessed in your journey.